Welcome to our first celebration for Compassion and Care. I'm Cindy Wilson.
And I'm Nicole Huffman, and we are the co-chairs for this year's event.
I support VOYCE for a very personal reason. They were there for me in a time when my family needed help and we had to place our loved one in long-term care. There was so much I didn't understand, and it was so overwhelming. They helped me understand what's to be expected and how to make the experience great for our loved one, as well as peace of mind for us. VOYCE is really there for the families as well as the residents.
And I support VOYCE because I believe in their mission of advocacy. I believe that we should help those that need assistance, and they do a great job helping our community, and they're a great resource to the community. For those of you at home, let's take a moment and go into the chat. Let us know where you're from, and we'll give you a few seconds to do that now.
Let us know who you're celebrating tonight and where you're watching from. Feel free to say from your couch or a comfy chair. Keep this conversation going. Let's make this fun event tonight.
Now we would like to introduce tonight's MCs, Mike Roberts and Maggie Crane.
Thank you, Cindy and Nicole.
Tonight, we celebrate the best of those working in long-term care, individuals who have championed the cause of residents, and those who have gone above and beyond in one of the most challenging years to be a resident, employee, advocate, ombudsman, or leader in the field of long-term care.
This year, more than ever, those working in the field faced challenges. Their hard work took on even greater meaning and greater risk. There were dark days when there wasn't enough PPE, long periods of time when residents were isolated from family members and at times even from other residents, and the permeating reality of the virus.
This was really the first time that these facilities and communities became the leading news stories.
There has never been a time in our nation's history when so many eyes were on nursing homes. Our collective consciousness became more aware of the reality that residents face.
And with that awareness, VOYCE lived out its name in word and deed. Tonight, you'll hear those stories. You'll learn both about the pivotal role this organization has played for more than 40 years and how it led the way in 2020.
And Maggie, as an organization that serves seniors, making sure everyone has access to what we do, that is such an important value. With that in mind, tonight's event is available with captioning for those who need audio description. This is available on a special link.
And that tonight is also an opportunity to learn more about VOYCE. But let's be honest, it's also a fundraiser. So through the evening, you'll be invited to join our supporters in donating toward Fund the Need. This is a 100% tax-deductible donation made to support the services VOYCE provides. You'll be hearing from our supporters about who they give for: a parent, a spouse, grandparent, aunt or uncle or friend that connects them to this cause. We will encourage you to think about those in your own lives who have benefited from long-term care, or the news stories that you saw this year about who did. This is our collective opportunity to tell residents their lives have value. We want to be sure that all families have the support they need to make difficult long-term care decisions.
And if you want to make a donation, just click the donate button, and that button is on the event access page, or you can scan this QR code to be taken to the donation page. In addition to the Fund the Need, we have an exciting auction. We always have an exciting auction, but this year, check out the autographed David Perron hockey stick and the Ryan O'Reilly puck and put in a bid on the wine tasting party or the two-way radios.
Ryan O'Reilly's a big deal now. He's our captain now, you know, so I like this one. Okay, so to bid, just check out that link in the chat or scan this QR code that's on your screen. It'll take you back to the page where you access the event. Then you click the auction button and you'll be taken to the auction site. We'll take a moment to let you do that, and you'll see the link in the chat. I feel like we need the Jeopardy music right now.
I know. I wonder. I should have hummed. Sorry.
All right. Well, we hope that you found it regardless. On the lower right side of the auction site, click Register for Silent Auction and then enter your information. We'll pause for another moment, but we'll save you the humming or singing so that you have a chance to enter your info.
I could whistle.
Oh. It's pretty good.
Just pray for the people that I worked with in television. They're like, oh,
So once you're registered, you're going to get a confirmation screen that includes steps to download the Givey app, or you can look for the link to skip that and just bid online. If you download the Givey app to your smartphone, you'll need to enter the special code that you received in your confirmation. And there'll be a small box at the bottom of the app to enter that code. So once registered, you can browse the silent auction items and bid.
And on this same event site, you can also make a donation to VOYCE. We will be putting up that QR code on the screen throughout the night, so make sure that you see that so that you can make your contribution, and also pull up or pull out your VOYCE bingo card and mark off the important words that we say tonight, because you're going to want to make note of some of these words, as there are actually things that you can do throughout the night. These words have an asterisk. That's how you know them. So do the auction, mark it off. Our prize is a Blues AB Dewey's pack that includes a $50 gift certificate. Dang. So
Mike's going to be bidding you out.
I'm a little hungry. So it includes a $50 gift certificate to Dewey's. And I'm pretty sure I've said an entire row of words in just this past 30 seconds. So once you've filled out your line for the bingo card, text a photo of it to events@voicestl.org, and you will be entered into the raffle prize competition.
And as the event chairs noted, keep that conversation flowing in the chat. Congratulate award winners. Tell everyone which silent auction you're winning or want to win, or keep it to yourself so Mike doesn't come and outbid you. Your choice. But share what you're drinking or snacking too. And if you've got a really great recipe, drop that in the chat for us too.
Now let's get a new face on the screen and let the stories begin.
Hello, I'm Dr. Maria D. Cockrell. I first learned of VOYCE in 2017. My background is in intergenerational relationships. In fall of 2017, I began researching organizations that had volunteer opportunities where I could advocate for older adults. I officially became an ombudsman in spring of 2018 and served through fall 2019. I enjoyed empowering residents and educating them about their rights. I also found purpose in supporting family members navigating the long-term care continuum. When I think about VOYCE, I think about my grandparents and my Uncle George. They all had periods of times where they either lived in assisted living, skilled nursing, or hospice. I give for them and the other family members I know who have loved ones in long-term care. Why is VOYCE important? VOYCE is important because it's an organization that advocates for high-quality long-term care. This organization services the most vulnerable and most forgotten about populations. VOYCE leadership, staff, and volunteers are solutionaries for combating inequality and injustice in long-term care. I give for George Berry. Please join me tonight and donate to VOYCE.
This legislation is meaningful because it's personal and because I lost my husband to neglect and abuse while he was a resident in a long-term care facility for rehabilitation only. I knew that I had to do something. I felt not only for my husband and my family, but I felt relief and for all of the people that came before him who suffered and died. People have to have accountability, and that accountability is the camera. This is wonderful for people that are still residing in these places. Tonight, I am honored to be able to present this award to two representatives who worked very, very hard to get this legislation passed for the residents of long-term care facilities. The 2021 Resident Rights Award goes to State Representative Jim Murphy and former Representative Lynn Morris. It is my honor, and I would like to once again thank both of you for all of your help and guidance in getting this bill passed into law.
Good evening. I want to say thank you, and it's an honor to receive an award from the VOYCE Advocate Group for Seniors in Long-Term Care. It was an honor to help sponsor and co-sponsor, and also as chairman of the Aging Committee, get our bill through that Representative Murphy sponsored, and it was a great bill. Back in 2019, we didn't realize how important that bill was going to be due to COVID, but we were able to pass that bill and get the governor to sign it, and it was able to connect families at a very hard time in their lives to their loved ones in nursing homes. So I want to congratulate Representative Murphy. Thank you again to VOYCE for helping come to the committee meetings and helping us get this important legislation passed. And we'll do more things for seniors in healthcare facilities in the future. Everyone have a great evening.
Hello, I'm State Representative Jim Murphy. I am very, very honored to receive your Residents' Rights Award. The monitoring bill that we passed last year was a work of many, many, many people, including VOYCE, and I am so happy that it got across the finish line and will protect our elderly citizens. And thank you again for this award. I am so appreciative.
My name is Bob Snyder. I have been a VOYCE Ombudsman for 10 years. I think about the many residents I have known over the 10 years, the ones I've helped, the ones I've been a friendly visitor with, and the stories that I've heard from the residents. Some of the stories were hard to believe, but I listened to them all and found them all interesting. I like seniors, and I respect seniors. When I retired, I looked around for volunteer work that was really making a difference, allowed me to do real work and to work alone. I'm looking for an organization that had a real mission and provided training, provided support for the volunteers, and took seriously the management of their volunteers. VOYCE filled the bill in all areas. VOYCE is important because it focuses on both the resident and the long-term care industry. VOYCE is the force that makes it possible for the ombudsman to do their job. VOYCE is a source of information for residents and families about long-term care. I give to improve the quality of life in long-term care. Join me tonight and support VOYCE with a donation.
Hi, I'm Marjorie Moore, Executive Director of VOYCE. When long-term care took the center stage in 2020, VOYCE had already been around for more than 40 years, educating and empowering individuals and their family to navigate the long-term care continuum. Families turn to us for answers. Our VOYCE Connect helpline answers hundreds of calls every year for families who are overwhelmed in making decisions and to help them find the best solutions for long-term care. Another way that VOYCE helps is through our long-term care consumer directory. I'm going to let Catherine tell you a little bit more about that.
I'd like to share with you how the VOYCE Consumer Resource Directory saved me during what I refer to as a pivotal crinkle event of 2018. In the last week of August 2018, I received a call from my sister-in-law, Christine, that my 90-year-old father was going to be in the hospital for several days, and someone needed to look after my 84-year-old mother. Mom had had some TIAs and mini strokes and had been unable to do all the activities of daily living for the last 6 years. She wasn't too bad mentally, but along with her lupus of 50 years, yes, 50 years, she was quite weak and had lost vision in one eye. So with Dad, her caregiver, in the hospital, someone had to take care of Mom. Christine had very little vacation time, so I drove in from out of state the next day, planning to stay a week or two, but ending up staying 5. When I arrived and checked in on Dad at the hospital, I discovered he had done no shopping around for agent-in-place housing from the Google list I'd left him in May, not even phone calls. Thus, the task fell to me to find the assisted living facility and pack and sell their home. Fortunately, my appointment with the Mike Weeks Medicaid attorney got me moved up because of a cancellation. So when we figured out how to estimate the finances, I noticed he kept referring to the VOYCE directory for places and costs. I finally asked, where can I get that book? I thought it might be something only attorneys could have or whatever, but it wasn't. And he made me a copy of the order sheet. I paid the $15 and downloaded the wonderful book. It was a godsend. I have to tell you, the high level and consistent notations in the book prevented me from wasting time that I could not afford to waste. I would like to thank VOYCE for producing the VOYCE Consumer Resource Directory. It's a marvelous collection of data at an affordable price. I'm glad to know that VOYCE provides advocacy services for residents. Thank you for caring. Thank you for letting me extol the virtues of all that you do.
Thank you, Catherine. While VOYCE provides a number of services, the core of our organization is our Ombudsman program. It's actually why we were created. In 1978, after many years of concern about quality care in nursing homes, Congress created the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program through the Older Americans Act. Within a couple of months, programs started popping up all over the country, and that included VOYCE, once called the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program of St. Louis, or LIPCOP, in 1979. Our ombudsmen, a dynamic team of volunteers, visit residents and facilities all over the St. Louis area and northeastern parts of Missouri, 21 counties. They build relationships with residents and become their advocates in receiving care. Each year, we serve over 2,000 residents and resolve over 1,200 complaints. The sad reality is that not all residents have friends and family who can visit regularly, even before COVID. With this comes loneliness, but also the opportunity for standards of care to fail. The idea of it taking a village really applies to quality care for our elders too. Our ombudsmen are sometimes the only village that a resident has to communicate their needs to an administrator or even just ward off loneliness with a conversation. Sometimes our ombudsmen are part of a bigger village of children and family and friends who are not sure how to communicate concerns or even what's appropriate. Ombudsmen are always part of the overall facilities village, encouraging staff to grow their skills to provide the best quality of care and filling in the gaps for residents who need a listening ear or bridging the communication divide when issues arise. And just to reiterate, in case you missed it, our ombudsmen are volunteers. VOYCE works efficiently with a staff of 10, but relies on over 30 volunteers to fulfill this pivotal mission, especially in 2020. In 2020, I've got to be honest, I was even surprised at how quickly our volunteers took up the task of changing how they did things when facilities closed in March of 2020. They took to the phones, the webcams, the letters, they made window visits, and even sent in photos and cards and even flowers to residents. All the while, though, they advocated and made sure that residents were safe within the facilities. 2020 was a hard time for those who were living and working in long-term care. Of all of the deaths in Missouri, 45% of them were related to long-term care. When COVID caught all of us by surprise, especially those that were in nursing homes, it also spotlighted long-standing issues within the industry, including staffing shortages, lack of personal protective equipment, and poor communication with residents and families. Issues that may have contributed to the virus's spread, and issues that our ombudsmen have been helping residents and families navigate for years. Later tonight, you're going to hear from one of our ombudsmen, Robin, who's helped countless families. And I'm so grateful that we get to hear her firsthand experience.
Hi, my name is James Zhang from Arch Talents LLC. I connect with VOYCE a few years ago with my friend Qing Huang. Through him, I learned that VOYCE is urgently needing a fast, secure, and scalable data management system for their VOYCE Connect services. So quickly, we established a data engineering and analytics team to help them put this system together. So we're pretty happy that the project went live at a time during COVID-19 that VOYCE can actually use to manage 300 plus of their long-term care facilities. So it was quite a success. So when I think about VOYCE, I think about all the grandparents who desperately needing the help and guidance from them. And VOYCE is the leader in our St. Louis community and definitely the treasure to all of us. So we need to keep them running with the state-of-the-art technologies, and they can run as fast and as efficient as possible for the growing needs. I give for a better quality of care for all the grandparents who deserve it. So join me tonight and support VOYCE with your donation.
Hi, I'm Lori Peterson-Sakai, Board Chair of VOYCE. Tonight, I'm here to honor and introduce the Beacon of Hope Award nominees and winner. The Beacon of Hope Award honors an individual that has shown resilience in caregiving. This person may have persevered in the face of obstacles through this pandemic, provides solutions to problems when they arise, and overall has a positive attitude. If there ever was a year when we needed a beacon of hope, this was it. Our nominees are all employees within long-term care, home health, hospice, clinical services, and hospitals. They include clinical process leaders, receptionists, housekeepers, medical records coordinators, administrators, maintenance professionals, field support caregivers, and much more. Nominees were submitted by employers, residents, their family members, and coworkers. While our first award of the evening was selected internally, this award is one of 3 that went through a judging process. Judging the nominations wasn't easy, as you can imagine. We had so many quality nominees to choose from, so even getting to the top 10 was difficult. A little about the judging process. One staff person took the nominations and redacted any of the identifiers such as name and employer. 2 VOYCE employees then ranked the top 10 anonymous stories. The top 10 list was then sent to our guest judges, still anonymous, for them to vote on the winner. Before I get to our finalists, I wanted to acknowledge our judges. Lux, on-air personality at 105.7 The Point, and Rodney White, Nestle Purina Pet Company, a VOYCE board member. You will hear from both of them later on this evening, but first I want to thank you for helping us honor these remarkable individuals. Okay, so now to our nominees. Lauren Adams, Right at Home St. Louis. Yolanda Chris, AccuCare Home Health. Michelle Crowford, Right at Home St. Charles. Andrea Hansen, Martha's Hands Home Care Service. Patty Gomez, Friendship Village, Chesterfield. Tracy Lucas, Town and Country Nursing and Rehab. Jean Scott, Right at Home St. Charles. Susan Sullivan, BJC Health. Susan Taylor, NHC Maryland Heights. Joanne Weiss, Frontier Health and Rehab. Our winner distinguished themselves by being dedicated and empathetic to clients and families, and they care for their clients as if they were their own families. Drum roll, please. This year's winner of the Beacon of Hope Award is Lauren Adams with Right at Home St. Louis. Congratulations, and thank you for giving us all a bit more hope.
Hi, my name is Min Liu. I'm a volunteer in the St. Louis Chinese American community. My connection with the VOYCE started in early 2020 when COVID-19 first hit. A few of the area Chinese American organizations, including the Chinese Education Culture Center and the Chinese Service Center, rallied together in a fundraising campaign to provide PPE for our region. VOYCE staff, particularly Ms. Marjorie Moore, were instrumental in helping our campaign identify those agencies and facilities that would most benefit from our donation, and we really appreciated their support. It felt good to be able to be part of this community effort to provide more support for those staff and, of course, for the residents in those communities. When I think of supporting VOYCE, I think of the staff members, but more importantly, the residents in the senior centers or the long-term facilities, especially those who are vulnerable physically, mentally, and emotionally, whose quality of life has been enhanced and improved by the tireless dedication and advocacy of the VOYCE staff. I give for a better future for all of us in the region. Please join me tonight in supporting VOYCE with your donation.
Mike, I don't know about you, but I am feeling a little bit more hope, just learning a little bit more about the honorees and the outstanding work that they've been doing, especially during the pandemic.
Oh, Maggie, and also how amazing are our Ombudsman volunteers. What a difference they make and have been for all of these years. It warms my heart knowing that they're in places where residents really can rely on them.
Yeah, and for those of you watching, we'd like you to share in the chat what's helping you to feel hopeful tonight. Is it the new legislation so residents can have cameras? Is it the caregivers who go above and beyond?
Well, I think it's time we acknowledge the amazing sponsors who made tonight possible. At the advocate level, Express Scripts. At the champion level, AccuCare. At the hero level, SSM Health. Everspring Pharmacy, Martha's Hands, Right at Home, St. Louis.
And at the Party Pack Partners level, ARIA Care Partners, Enterprise Bank and Trust, Health Direct Pharmacy Services, and at the underwriter level, 360 Quality Care and Transport Services, and Home Instead St. Peter's.
Thank you all for your support tonight and the work that VOYCE does. For those of you who are at home, don't forget to bid on your silent auctions.
And as a reminder on how to bid or donate, check out the link in the chat or scan this QR code that's on your screen right now. Click the auction button, you'll be taken straight to the auction site.
And when you register, you'll receive a special code. Download the Givey app on your mobile device and enter that special code. Enter your payment information, and then you can browse the silent auction items.
We also want to ask you to consider making a donation to VOYCE tonight to let honorees know their efforts through 2020 are appreciated, or to help residents install cameras in their room, train more ombudsmen, and be sure every resident, no matter whether their village is big or small, has quality care.
Okay, we'll be back in just a few minutes to wrap up tonight's event, but in the meantime, I'd like to reintroduce you to Marjorie Moore. Want to make sure that she has a chance to introduce another award and tell us a little bit more about how VOYCE stepped up in 2020.
Everyone watched the stories of 2020, and we all banged pots to celebrate healthcare workers, and children sent cards to nursing homes. Words like hero, champion, and selfless were bandied about. For many, it was the first time that they truly saw the dedication of long-term care workers. The irony is, many of those words came at the same time that these dedicated professionals lacked the very basic supplies to do their jobs safely. Personal protective equipment was at desperate short supply, placing caregivers and residents at exponential risks. To help with this, in the very early stages of the pandemic, VOYCE put together a database that connected people in the community who were willing to make donations directly with facilities and home care organizations and hospice. Thanks to all of the mask makers led by Mary Hastings and Ina Park and so many others, facilities soon had enough masks for all of their residents, making everybody much safer. And I also want to call out the extraordinary work of Min and James, who you met earlier, who worked with the Chinese Culture and Education Center of St. Louis to get KN95 masks to residents and staff. The community came together and VOYCE helped make those connections. And tonight, we continue that connection as we ask the public to help us select a truly outstanding caregiver with our Community Choice Awards. The Community Choice Award goes to a caregiver that has shown exceptional care while working in a long-term care setting, home care, or in hospice. This person is nominated by and voted on by the public. Because these honorees are true champions, I'm going to turn this award over to someone who knows a little something about being outstanding. Louie from the Stanley Cup champions, St. Louis Blues. Hey, Louie. And the nominees for the 2021 VOYCE Community Choice Award are Kim Bain of AccuCare Home Health, Mark Fitzgerald, Frontier Health and Rehab, Stacy Long, Ascension Living, Sherbrooke Village, Lakeitha Miles, Frontier Health and Rehab, Dan Ojeda, Ascension Living, Sherbrooke Village, Veronica Oseyo, Friendship Village, Chesterfield, Marianne Taylor, Right at Home, St. Charles, Manny Teferi, Friendship Village, Chesterfield, George Walker, Friendship Village, Sunset Hills. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Louie. I don't know if you were even nominated. I don't think this is right. Let me see that. Kim Bain of AccuCare is our real winner. We should note that 1,300 votes were submitted for the Community Choice Award. Congratulations, Kim. You really, truly are a champion. Right, Louie?
Hi there, my name is Lux. I am on 105.7 The Point, Monday through Friday from 2 to 7, and I'm also a big supporter of the VOYCE organization. So thrilled that they allowed me to be a part of your celebration this year. Truly, every single nominee and winner absolutely blew me away. Incredible humans who really exemplify what it means to care. It's important to me to support an organization like VOYCE because I recently experienced some incredible long-term care. My grandmother passed away June 1st, 2020 of COVID in her nursing home. And if you remember, back then, it was still very new to the pandemic, so they had to close the doors to visitors back in February. So it had been a very long time since my grandmother had seen any of us. And at 93 with early stage dementia, that was very confusing and difficult for all of us, to say the very least. But what made it better, what made it possible for us to feel like we could be there in some semblance, was the staff. The staff at her care center, I mean, absolutely incredible. From holding up the iPad for FaceTimes to walking with her body out of the facility when we were not allowed to be there. Just one memory I have specifically is my mother watching my grandmother over FaceTime, and she said the nurse was brushing my grandmother's hair, and she could hear my grandmother kind of like, you know, that physical touch that comes with comfort and care. And it was something that we physically couldn't give her, and they did. So to have an organization like VOYCE who lifts up some of the hardest working and unsung heroes that St. Louis has, I couldn't be happier and more proud to be a part of tonight's celebration. So thank you so much again. And congratulations to all of you, truly, for being the best that humanity has to offer.
In taking care of my mother, so I was a caregiver for about 3.5 years. And so it got to a point where I could no longer take care of her at home. And so I was like, Lord, what do? I had different people come into the home. You know, the blessing that my job was really flexible with the schedule, but it got to a point where I just couldn't take care of my mother at home. And so she did actually go into a long-term care facility. And so when she went into the long-term care facility, I was that daughter that was there every day. Every day, my daughter went every day because my mom was also on dialysis. So we had to make sure that we, would take her to dialysis Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. And then plus, it's my mom. So I saw a lot. And so I went at different times, and I worked during the day. Even though I went at different times during the day, I would go in the evening time a lot. And so I would see the care that was given to the different residents in the facility. And I'm thinking, not saying that everything was bad. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying everything was good, but I did see that there were people there that sometimes they didn't have anybody to come to visit them. Sometimes they didn't have anybody a lot of times they didn't have anybody to speak up for them. It was just fortunate enough that I was a daughter that my mom was there, and I was able to talk to the staff about my mom and her needs. But not only her, I was looking at everybody else around in the room. I'm thinking, this person, they might have their call light on, and someone didn't come and answer their call light, or they might need a cup of water and someone's not there to give them a cup of water, or someone might have fell, or anything, and so I would think about that. It's not only am I helping my mom, but other mothers, other fathers, other sisters, other brothers. So that's one of the reasons why I became an ombudsman, because I saw exactly the need that was needed there, and people needed help and they needed a voice.
Hi, I'm Katie Morrison. I'm an ombudsman with VOYCE. Robin exemplifies what brings many of us into this program and the important role that my fellow ombudsmen play. Sometimes it is the simplest things, such as a cup of water or an answered call light, that really makes the difference. For those in nursing homes and receiving long-term care, it is about understanding the dignity of and providing them quality of life. Recently, my family experienced this in a more personal way. My mother, Diana, is here today to help tell our story.
My mom had dementia and had been the caregiver for my dad. And when she got sick and went to the nursing home, we had to move my dad there also. So my dad spent about 3 years at the nursing home, 2.5 years after my mom passed. I will say this, that before I had her as a spokesperson for her job, I would get mad about little things, and I would call her and say, you know, they did this or that. And she would say, well, Mom, that's Grandpa's right. And I would be so mad at both of them. But it did make me understand more that he did have rights.
Yeah, it's just making sure, you know, they're going into this home and they don't lose rights. It's their home. They should be able to do the things that they did before and just receive good care.
When he passed away, the night before, they let us come see him. And the one thing that impressed me was that 8 of the staff members from the front part of the building had come to see him that day. So it made me realize how much that they cared for him, really, and that was important to me.
A lot of residents don't have family, and so having the Ombudsman program is very helpful to go in and, you know, be a voice for those that don't have someone advocating for them. And a lot of residents' families aren't even aware sometimes of the Ombudsman program, so we can be there to make sure they're getting that quality of life and quality of care.
Quality care is the goal for everyone at VOYCE, from staff to ombudsmen and advocates to VOYCE Connect helpline workers. Tonight, it is my privilege to showcase the individuals that exemplify this. Our nominees for Caregiver of the Year, which is sponsored by Express Scripts, have gone above and beyond expectations. They have worked 18-hour days, brought clients their favorite meals, designed plexiglass visitation dividers so that residents could see their families and loved ones. They have coordinated food and furniture donations for home care clients in need. They've decorated residents' windows. They've held a hand or reassured a concerned resident, and been a kind, loving friend at a client's end of life. Our finalists are Debbie Clark with Sunset Healthcare, Shanika Charles with Sunrise Senior Living on Clayton, Beverly Lee of Unity Hospice, Nathan Kohler with Mercy Home Health St. Louis, Eric McGlown with AccuCare Home Health, Jennifer Ryan Galantowitz with SRZ Reach LTC, Megan Schmidt, Clarendale of St. Peter's, Megan Sellers with Martha's Hands Home Healthcare Services, Kinsey Starnes with Brooking Park, and Dr. Pam White with At Home Care. And the winner of the 2021 Caregiver of the Year Award is Megan Sellers, a CNA from Martha's Hands. Megan has been with the organization for over 7 years, providing more than 17,000 hours of care. 4 years and 7,000 hours of service were devoted to one particular client. She cared for that client as if it were her own grandmother, with a determination to do everything she could to make each day meaningful for her. Megan has been called a godsend by her clients' families and has made it possible for clients to remain at home with their loved ones. She put her whole heart into caring for her clients. Her soul's mission is to bring joy and pleasure to their lives. Congratulations, Megan, and all the nominees. Thank you for going above and beyond through one of the darkest years in your profession.
I first learned about VOYCE through a United Way event over 6 years ago. At the time, I had no idea we had a gem of a resource in the state of Missouri that worked proactively to assist people in long-term care facilities and their families. I was truly inspired so much that I wanted to get involved and support this fabulous organization. When I think about supporting VOYCE, the first person who comes to my mind is my maternal grandmother, who spent the last few years of her life in a nursing home. I remember the tough times my mother and her sisters had in making the decision to first move her into a nursing home facility and whether or not it was the right thing to do. But not having any professional assistance in navigating this process was very stressful and exhausting for them. I know an agency like VOYCE would have made the journey much smoother for everyone. VOYCE is important for that reason. Its mission is to educate and empower individuals and their loved ones for quality living across the continuum of long-term care. VOYCE has several programs available, like VOYCE Connect Helpline and educational resources for family members, and much, much more. And for this reason, I give for my grandmother, Georgia Hall. So join me tonight and support VOYCE with your donation.
What a night!
Maggie, that is so true. And congratulations to all of our award winners. You truly are the very best in your field. And on behalf of the residents, families, and our entire region, we just want to say thank you.
And we also want to say a big thank you to all of the speakers and presenters. Tonight, you shared some really impactful stories that we recognize were not easy to share, but we thank you for helping us to better understand.
And thank you to the staff at VOYCE, the volunteers, and the board of directors who make quality care for long-term care residents possible. Thank you as well to all of our sponsors.
And thank you to everyone who watched, participated, chatted, and donated tonight.
Okay, I have been designated to nag you a little bit. Don't forget that your final silent auction bids are due by noon on Monday, March 15th, and be sure to text a photo of your completed bingo card to events@voicestl.org so you can be entered into our raffle for the Blues A.B. Dewey's Pizza Prize Pack.
You know, this has been a lot of fun, but it's a lot more fun when we get to do it in person. So now that the vaccines are out, a lot of that's going to depend on that little shot in the arm.
Maybe I wasn't the only designated nagging person, but that's a great thought, Maggie. Let's make sure that everybody arrives safely next year.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we can celebrate for compassion and care and all that VOYCE does next year in person. Until then.